Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel which name is Analytics Pro. In this Power BI with SQL playlist, we are going to cover only SQL concepts from scratch. In the previous tutorial guys, we have studied about some aggregate functions like sum, max, min, average and so on. And that was the first part of SQL functions. And here under this tutorial, we are going to cover some date functions which are majorly used in SQL projects. And that is the part 2 of SQL functions. So let's begin our class. So here are some dates functions guys which we are going to cover in this today's tutorial. So the first function is getDate. GetDate showcase current date. There we can use getDate function. And the next function is dateAdd. This same function guys you have already seen in Power BI where we can compare day over day, month over month, week over week and so on. In a similar way guys, we guys can also use dateAdd function in SQL. And this function adds a time, date, interval to a date and then return the date. And now let's talk about this third function in SQL which name is Datedif. And this Datedif function guys you have already used in Power BI as well as in Excel. If you want to calculate the difference of two dates, so in that case you guys can use this Datedif function. With the help of Datedif guys, you can calculate the hours, minutes, days, seconds and so on. Simply you need to change the intervals. And now let's talk about the next function which is DatePart. DatePart function guys used to extract month, week, days, year, hour, minute, second and so on from any of the date column. And the same kind of function guys you have already used in Power BI like day, year, month, hour, minute and so on. So with the help of those function guys you can extract any of the month number, day number, year and so on. And now let's talk about one more function in SQL which name is datename. So with the help of datename function guys, here you can extract the names. Like if you want to extract the month name like Jan, Feb, March and so on. And in a similar way guys, if you want to extract any day's name like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday and so on. So with the help of datename function guys, we can extract any day's name. And now let's talk about one more date function which name is format. And the same function guys you have already used in Power BI to extract any day's name. So with the help of format function guys, we can also extract any name of the day, month and year. So here under this today's tutorial guys, we will cover all these dates function with practical. And now let's move towards the SSMS screen. So here we have entered in SSMS screen. So guys, let's start our first dates function which name is getDate. And now guys, let's start with this getDate function. So here we will learn that how we can use getDate function separately. So what I will do guys, I will simply write select command here, select, and now I will simply write get date because I want to see my current date here in SSMS. So what I will do, I will simply start the bracket and close this bracket. There is no parameter guys which you need to write here under this get date function. And if you guys want to give the alias, so with the help of as keyword, here you can take the alias. So I am taking alias as current underscore date. And now let me select this query and hit execute. So here we guys can see it returning the column name as current date. And it is also displaying the today's date which is August 24, 2024 along with its time. So this is the one context guys where you can use this getDate function. And now guys, let's use this getDate function with entire table. So let's suppose guys you want to create an entire column of current date. So how we can use this function guys with entire table? Let's learn it. So what I will do, I will simply write select and after that I'll put it star. That means all the records from my table. And now I'll put it comma guys. And now what I will do, I will simply write my function here which name is getDate. So there is no parameter of getDate guys. So I will simply start bracket and close this. And now I will use alias here with the as keyword. And I want to return my column name as current underscore date. And finally guys, I will simply write my table name here which is sales. And now let me select this query and hit execute. So here we can see this is our sales table. And if you scroll it right, so here we can see this column is returning as a current date. So in this way guys, you can also use this getDate function if you want to return entire column in your existing table. And there are a lot of ways guys of using this getDate function. So So you guys need to try your own logics to use this getDate function. And now guys, let's talk about the next date function of SQL, which name is dateAdd. So what I will do, let me remove this query from here. So firstly I will show you the dateAdd function separately without any table. So what I will do guys, I will simply write select, and here I will write my date function which name is dateAdd and bracket start. So the first parameter of dateAdd is interval. So here you guys can take any interval like day, month, year, quarter and so on. So this time guys, let's calculate the day. So I will simply use day function here, and now I'll put it comma. And the next parameter of dateAdd function guys, increment intervals. So here you can take the number as per your requirement. So firstly I'll put it comma here, and here I will take the number as 2. You guys can take any random number, and now I'll put it comma. And the next parameter is expression or small date time. So here under this parameter guys, what I will do, either you guys can take the column name or you can use getDate function. So firstly guys, I am using getDate function here. GetDate bracket start bracket close and close this dateAdd function. And if you want to give this query as any column name, so you simply need to put alias here, which is as keyword, and finally you can write any column name here, let's say dates. And now let me select this query and hit execute. And now let's understand how it's returning this date. So guys, our today's date is 24th August 2024, and here I have taken interval as day, and under integer guys I have taken 2. That means it will show you the next upcoming days with this get date, which means from today's date. So our today's date is 24, and if you add 2 here, so the next 2 days is 26. And let's suppose if I put it 3 here guys, so it will display 27. And now let me select this query and hit execute. So see guys, I hope now you guys are clear with this logic. In a similar way guys, if you want to change any interval from here, let's say this time I'll put it month, and I will also change the integer from here, let's say -1. That means our today month is August. So if you go back to the previous month, which is July, and now let me select this query and hit execute. So see guys, it returning the previous month date, which is 2024 July 24th. So if you guys wants to go back in the previous month or the upcoming month, you guys can use dateAdd function to calculate any month, year, day, hour, second and so on. Simply you need to change the interval and this number. I hope now you guys are clear with this dateAdd function. And now guys, let's learn this dateAdd function with entire table. So what I will do guys, I will simply put it star here and put it comma. And finally guys, let me write the table name, which is from sales. So here is the query guys, if you want to use with entire table and calculate a column. So let me select this query and hit execute. So here we guys can see this column is returning the previous month in each and every row. And now guys, let's learn one more way of using this dateAdd. So instead of getDate guys, I can also take any date column from here, from this sales table. So this time guys, I will take this order date instead of getDate parameter. So what I will do, let me remove this getDate from here, and I will simply use order date. So here is the space in our header guys. So what I will do, let me wrap this into the square brackets so that SQL will understand that's a column name here. And now we can see it's understand that's a column name. And now let me select this query and hit execute. And now let me scroll it right. So here you can see on the basis of this order date, so it is returning the previous month from this order date. So here we can see the month is January 2022. And here it is returning December 2021, which is just only 1 month back to the January. And now let's cross check one more record. So this order date is March 8, 2022. And if I see this dateAdd calculation, it returning February 8, 2022, which is 1 month back to the current month. So in this way, you can play with this dateAdd function. I hope now you guys are clear with this dateAdd, that how we can use in SQL. And now guys, let's talk about one more function, which name is Datedif, which helps to calculate date difference. So firstly, let me remove this query from here, and here under this query guys, what I will do, I will only take this order date and ship date column. So if I want to fetch only these two column guys, so what I will do, I will simply use the column name with select command. And now guys, let me write this query. So I will simply write select, and I can simply take these two column names. So my first column name is order space date. So there is a space in our column guys, so I will simply use square bracket. So this is my order date column guys, and now I'll put it comma. So my next column name is shipped date, and there is also a space in the ship date header. So again I will use square bracket and I will simply write shipped space date and bracket close. And finally I will write my table name, which is sales. And now let me select this query and hit execute. So here we have only fetched the order date and ship date from the sales table. And now guys, let's use Datedif function to calculate the difference of order date and ship date. So from here guys, I will start writing my query. Select. So firstly I will take the column name, which is order date, comma, ship date, comma, and from here guys I will write my Datedif function. So I will simply write Datedif and bracket start. And now guys, let's understand the parameters. Interval, starting date, date time, ending time and date time. So we need to follow all these parameters. So under interval guys, you guys can simply take days, month, year. So whatever the calculation you want to display, you can take any parameter here. So this time I want to calculate the days. So I will simply take day, comma, and under starting date parameter guys, I will simply take order date, comma. Under ending date parameter guys, I will simply take the next date, which is shipped date. And now let me close the bracket. And finally guys, if you want to put alias over there, so simply use as keyword, and let's say my column name would be differences. And if you observe one thing here guys, it is returning as an error because I have missed E from here, from the date. And now let me select this query and hit execute. So if you observe one thing here guys, we have not given the table name here. That's why it's returning incorrect columns. So what I will do, I will simply write the table name here from sales. And now let me select this query and hit execute. So here you guys can see the difference with order date and ship date. So here start date is 10 and the end date is 15. So if you calculate the difference guys, so here answer is 5. In a similar way guys, if you want to cross check any other record, so here start day is 12 and end day is 16. So 16 minus 12 is 4. So in this way, you can use this Datedif function. And let's suppose, let me change the interval from here. This time I want to calculate the difference with month. So what I will do, I will simply change interval from here. Instead of day guys, I can simply take month. And now let me select this query and hit execute. So here we guys can see here answer is 0. The reason is that the month is same in both the start date as well as the end date. But here you can see the answer is 12 because it is 2022 December and it is 2023 December. So there is a 12-month difference between these two start date and end date. I hope now you guys are clear with this Datedif function. So rest intervals guys, you need to explore by self, like year, hour, minute and second. And now guys, let's talk about one more date function, which name is datepart. Datepart function used to extract month, week, days, year, hour, minute, second from any date column. So I will experiment on this order date column. So under date parameter guys, I will take this order date. So let's suppose firstly I want to fetch day from this order date column. So let me delete this query and write it from the scratch. So firstly I will use select and I want to display only one column, which name is order date and square bracket close. And after that guys, I will simply use my date part function here. And now guys, let's look at the parameter of date part. So the first parameter is interval. You guys can take any interval here like day, month, quarter, year, week and so on. So firstly I am taking day here as an interval. And under date guys, I will use the order date because I want to fetch day from the order date, comma and bracket close. And if you want to give as an alias guys, simply use as keyword or let's say days underscore names. And finally I will write my table name from sales. And now let me select this query and hit execute. So here we guys can see this is the order date column and here are the days which we have extracted from this order date, which are 10, 12, 2, 4, 8 and so on. I hope now you guys are clear with this date part function. And let's suppose guys, if you want to fetch any month number from this order date, so what you need to do, you simply need to change the interval from here. You can take month as an interval. And now let me select this query and hit execute. So here we guys can see the month name here like Jan, Feb, March, April and so on. And if you want to fetch any year from here, you simply use year function. And now let me select this query again and hit execute. So in this way you can fetch year, month, day, quarter and so on. So rest intervals guys you need to explore by yourself. And now let's talk about one more date function which name is date name. So with the help of date name function guys, you can extract the names like month name, day's name and the year. So let's try date name function with month parameter and day parameter. So let's suppose guys, firstly I want to extract the month name like Jan, Feb, March and so on. So let me write this query here. I will simply use select and I want to show only order date column. So I will simply write order date and finally I will use my date function which name is date name. And let me start this bracket and look at the parameter. So under interval parameter guys, this time I want to see the month. So I will simply take month, comma, and the next parameter is date. That means from which column you want to fetch the month name. So I want to fetch the month name from order date and bracket close. And I want to give alias as let's say months underscore names. And finally I will write my table name from sales. And now let me select this query and hit execute. So here we guys can see the name of the month which is Jan, Feb, March and so on. And in a similar way guys, we have one more DAX function which also extract the month name which name is format. So let's create a same result with format function. So I will simply use select my column name which is order date, comma, and now I will use format function. And now let's look at the parameter of format function. Value underscore to underscore format tiny integer. So here under this parameter guys, you need to simply take that column name which you want to fetch the month, day or year. So I want to fetch the month from order date, comma, and under this format and varchar guys, you simply need to write 4 times m. So inverted comma begin guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, and inverted comma close and close this bracket. And I want to give alias as months underscore names. And finally I will write my table name which is sales. And now let me select this query guys and you can see the same result with the help of format function. So either you guys can use date name or format. It will return the same result. You guys can see both the queries together. And let's suppose guys, if you want to calculate the short name of the month like Jan, Feb, March and so on. So what you need to do, you simply need to write 3 times m. And now let me select this query and hit execute. So here we guys can see the result. So I hope now you guys are clear with this format function. And now let's see some more practical with this date name function. And let's suppose guys, if you want to see the day's name like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday and so on. So what you need to do guys, you simply need to change the interval from this date name function. So remove this month from here and simply use weekday function under date name function. And now let me select this query and hit execute. So see guys, we can clearly see the day's name. So these are the majorly used date functions guys which are used in SQL projects. So for such kind of detailed learning guys, stay connected with us and kindly support this channel. And those who are new to this channel guys, kindly hit the like, share and subscribe. And don't forget to press this bell icon guys, else you will miss an update. And those who wants to learn Power BI or SQL from scratch, so you guys can follow this free YouTube channel which name is Analytics Pro. And if you scroll it down guys, so here you guys can see we have a full course Power BI playlist where I have explained each and every concept about Power BI in detail. And if you click here on this playlist button guys, so you guys will get to see multiple playlists are here. This is the Power BI full course playlist and these are the advanced concepts of Power BI where you guys can take the knowledge of advanced concepts of Power BI. And we have this Power BI with SQL playlist where you guys can learn all the concepts of SQL from scratch. So you guys can start your SQL journey with this free YouTube channel. And along with that guys, we have this visualization playlist and we have this DAX expression playlist where we have covered most of the DAX functions from scratch which are majorly used in your projects. And here under this playlist, I am also trying to cover all the differences of DAX functions which is majorly asked in an interviews. And very soon guys, I will add some more playlists so that you guys can take better understanding of the analytical skills. And for the job seekers guys, we have this free Telegram group where I'm keep posting latest Power BI jobs opening, as well as you will also find some latest interview question and answers which recently asked by an interviewer. So you don't need to pay anything to anyone. But those who are looking only live sessions, so we guys also conduct live training and sessions where we prepare candidates from scratch till intermediate level with some scenarios, real-time projects, assignments, notes and so on. And we also provide placement assistance with the help of WhatsApp group. where you will get to see some HR emails, contact number and so on. And you guys can also follow us on Insta as well as Facebook. So all the links I will share under the description box. You guys can follow us there. So for free learners guys, you guys can follow this Analytics Pro, and for the live training and sessions, you guys can connect me any of the platform. Thank you so much guys for your more love and support. Keep learning and keep growing. Thank you so much.